What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 165 of Cocktails in the War Room, which does not even seem possible. And what's even crazier is that this is the third year of Cocktails in the War Room, which Cocktails in the War Room started on March 14th of 2020 at the beginning of what is now a 2-year-long pandemic and counting. And now that we're in 2022, this is the third year that Cocktails in the War Room actually exists on the calendar, which is crazy. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Travis, Tracy, Rihanna, Kevin. Brianna's joining us. Fred's here. Michael's here. Mark and Melissa are here. Tracy, Carol. What's going on? If you are new to Cocktails in the War Room, welcome to my war room. It's an actual room in my house. It's where we started riding through the craziness of life together back on March 14th of 2020. We did 80 shows in a row, and then we launched the Mistress Carrie podcast, and Cocktails in the War Room became a weekly show where we get together to talk about what's going on, talk about what's happening in the world, definitely what's going on in music. It's where you can come to find out more about the Mistress Carrie podcast. And basically, it's become a giant virtual support group for the group of people that have now deemed themselves the War Room family. So, what's going on, Betty, Patrick, Megan is here, Kristen's here, Monica, how are you? Miss Wednesday's not here yet, but trust me, she'll be here soon enough. So if you're new to the War Room, let us know that this is your first time joining us in the War Room, and you also have to let us know where you are joining us from so that we can properly greet you. And if you're watching, make sure you chime in on the comments. What's up, Donna, Elsa, Christine, so that we know that you're here as well. And as always, the Cocktails in the War Room program could not happen if it were not for the help of Latini Creative Solutions. They have been instrumental in helping with all things War Room, all things Mistress Carrie podcast, all things mistresscarrie.com, everything. And so if you're looking to redesign, rebrand, launch something new in 2022, reach out at latinicreative.com. What's up, Kelly? Renato is here. Happy New Year to you. Jen, Annette, Kerry is here saying what's up from North Carolina. Love it. Hello, Michael. The first thing I want to do before we get going, because I got a lot to tell you about, including a big, giant announcement about next week's show. Big. But the first thing I want to do, like I said, Cocktails in the War Room has become a support group. It's become a place where we can all kind of go, find people that will support us and a place for us to talk about things. And I don't want to start the show off on a sad note, but the music industry lost an amazing guy. His name was Raymond McLamory. He was 61 years old, and he passed away this week after battling a long illness, not COVID related. He handled his illness with grace and really took the opportunity, especially through social media, to be a beacon of light and positivity towards the end of his life, and was very open and transparent about his battle. And Raymond McLamory, from David Draymond from Disturbed's own mouth, helped to break Disturbed and to get them where they are. And he was that kind of a person in the industry, so well respected, the kind of a guy that you could get into a fight with and then go drinking with him right afterwards. And he was an amazing husband, father, coworker, friend. I'm not going to claim that we were the best of friends, but after WAF went off the air, I went that following week to a radio convention in Las Vegas. It was literally the week after AAF was gone, like 5 days later. I was in a very sad, dark place, and Ray was there with a lot of other people, and he could not have been more encouraging and uplifting, was there to lay his credit card down at the bar, My now husband was with me, and he was like, whatever you guys want at the bar, just put it on my tab. When I launched Cocktails in the War Room and the podcast and the website, Ray reached out and, was just so supportive and so genuine and wonderful. And like I said, even though he and I weren't the best of friends, when you work in an industry like this, it's very difficult. There are a lot of industries like this, right? If you work in the medical industry, if you work in law enforcement, if you work in the fire service, if you work, if you're in the military, there are certain industries where unless you've done it, it's hard to explain. And the people that do it are there's an understanding and a close-knit kind of support system. And people that work in the music industry are really missing Ray McClamory. He was just an amazing guy. And he was someone that, even though we were casual friends and would see each other, he worked for the music industry. So he was always traveling. He didn't live anywhere near me. So I would only see him like once a year or whatever, but we would talk on the phone, and he was just a great guy. So I wanted to start the show tonight by just asking all of you guys to toast to Raymond McClamory. I know you didn't know him, but if you're a Disturbed fan, you're a Disturbed fan because of Raymond McClamory. So cheers to you guys. I'll explain the coffee with a little extra in a minute, but to Ray, he was an amazing guy that right up until the end was filled with love and grace and just really special. We should all have I'm trying to think of the right word. Grace is the word that just keeps coming to mind. The fearlessness, the hope, the optimism, just to handle what he handled and to handle it the way that he did is just nothing short of amazing. And just an unbelievable guy. And he will be sorely, sorely missed. There is a lot to talk about. We've got all kinds of stuff, and I want to just get it out of the way because I'm really excited about it, but there's also that element of danger. If you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you kind of know, but it's 100% good to go now, and so I wanted to talk to you guys about it tonight. Next week, we're taking the show on the road. Cocktails in the War Room is going on deployment next week. No, it's not going to be from a club. We're taking it international next week. Cocktails in the War Room is going to the United Arab Emirates next week. And it's going to be amazing. It will probably be called Coffee in the War Room next week because of the time change. I will be joining you guys live at 8:30 Eastern. However, I believe it will be 5:30 in the morning for me. But that whole meet me in St. Louis thing, I am finally able to travel and meet my husband. And so we are meeting in the United Arab Emirates, and I am going, shut the front door, Brito. I know. And I booked my flight. It's definitely happening. So between now and next week, when I join you here in the War Room virtually, but not here physically in the War Room, it's going to be a really long flight. You can see the red thumbtack for Boston. And if you look way over on the other side of the picture, you can see where the United Arab Emirates are. Sorry. I've been talking a lot today. And I'm so excited. Now, there are a lot of variables that could go into this. First of all, I have to have a COVID test within 48 hours of travel. Now, I have been super careful. I am totally healthy. I feel fine, but fingers crossed that I make it through the test and don't find out in some weirdness that I test positive for COVID, having zero symptoms and whatever, because that would prohibit me from getting on the plane. So that's hurdle number one. Hurdle number two is I am almost assured that I am going to have internet service good enough for me to be able to pull the show off. It's not going to be the full production show that it is. It's definitely going to be stripped down. I do not, because I'm going on a tourist visa, traveling, especially to that region of the country, no matter how that region of the world, no matter how Western, I'm not going to be traveling with microphones and that kind of stuff because I just don't want to chance it. I don't want to whatever. So let me explain to you how this is going to work. The Mistress Carrie podcast will continue. I have episodes already lined up. I'm working on getting ahead on the episodes now. There's some great ones. Buckle up because the next couple of weeks, there's some long episodes, but they're fun. So the podcast is going to be unaffected. The sit rep will be affected because I produce a different sit rep episode every day, and it's going to be hard for me to do that while I'm gone. So the sit rep will go on vacation. And if you subscribe to the podcast, you'll know what's going on. But I want the War Room to continue because I want you guys to be part of this journey with me. I've started Googling stuff, places that I want to go, things that I want to do. Obviously, it's all about the company that I'm going to be with first and foremost. But part of the reason that I'm going through what I'm going through to get there is that we have had so many conversations here in the War Room about the yin and yang of life, right? Recognizing your responsibilities, not overextending yourself, being financially responsible, being prepared for the unexpected. We've had so many of these conversations over the last 165 episodes about being financially prepared, about, just being ready for shortages and unexpected illness and all of that kind of stuff. And then on the other side of that same coin, we've talked about living in the moment, living life to its fullest, taking advantage of opportunities when they come because they might not come back again. And so I saw this as an opportunity. The only time I've been to that region of the country has been to be an embedded reporter. So I've been to Kuwait, I have been to Bahrain, I have been to Iraq, and I've been to Afghanistan. And so now I am going to get a chance to go to a different part of the Middle East, and it's an opportunity that I'm probably not going to have again. And if I do, it's going to be a lot more complicated. So I just thought, you know what? It's an opportunity for me to spend time with my husband, who I have not been able to spend time with in a really, really long time. And it's also an opportunity for me to go and see a part of the world that I have not been able to see. So, Brianna says, Mr. Jarhead is taking on a new job, cameraman. You know it, because that's happening. We already talked. I will tell you this, so just to kind of give you guys a little insight, if you're new to the War Room, or if you've wondered this, I'm very careful about talking too much about my husband and what he does and where he is, because he's still active duty and he's still working. And anytime anyone in the entertainment industry gets into that line of work, it is your decision as to how much you share and don't share. The people in your life have not agreed to those same terms and have not made those same agreements. And even though he obviously chose to marry me, I still want to respect the fact that he has his own life and can make the decisions about how much of his life he wants to share and how much he doesn't. Now, if you're a regular listener of the Mistress Carrie podcast, I do let some stories slip out. And in the next couple of weeks, there are definitely some things coming out in some podcast episodes. But my husband, one of the things that I love about him when it comes to personality traits is that he is a planner, a lot like I am. And whenever he and I travel together, and it's one of the things we love to do the most, is to go on adventures together. He always makes a PowerPoint presentation for the trip, the Consummate Marine, with all of the details, addresses, specific time hacks, pack lists, like all of that kind of stuff. It's ridiculous. And the thing is, some people would hate it. I love it. And so he's working on the PowerPoint for me right now, and he blocked off to make sure that we don't do anything too late the night before so that I can get up early the next day so that we can get together in the war room. So you guys are part of the PowerPoint, which is going to be awesome. Yes, he chose to marry you and chose the wild side. He did, Eric, but I think anyone that is married also can understand that you want to protect your spouse. And obviously, he would never want to do anything that would jeopardize my career. And in turn, I would never want to do anything to jeopardize his career and the nature of his business and what he does and where he is and why he's there is not for me to make public. It's just, that's his career. He's worked incredibly hard. He's very proud of his career and he's very good at it. And so that's why, I just try to talk about what he and I do, but in a vague enough way that I don't feel like I am intruding on his privacy. Yeah, Michael Opsec, exactly. Do they have Dunkin' Donuts in Dubai? Let me tell you what, that is one of the things my husband is looking for, is where in all of the Emirates there are Dunkin' Donuts, because we are not going to be staying in one place. And, obviously with COVID protocols, there's different protocols in different Emirates. And so kind of balancing all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to need to be tested before I leave, be tested when I arrive, be tested as I move around, and then obviously be tested before I can get on the plane to come home. So there's a lot of logistics and juggling, and I am willing to do it for a couple of reasons. One, I want to see my husband. Two, it's going to be an amazing adventure. And so it's going to be awesome. Penny wants to know how long the flight is. So I have different layovers on the way there and back. When you take a flight like that, you can either fly from, say, Boston to New York and then New York straight to Dubai, or, to any of the major airports that are in the Emirates, because they're all over the place. Or you can stop in places like Amsterdam or Paris. The flight is definitely longer on the way there because of the time change. You're adding hours and it's crazy. The flight back, my layover is shorter. And so I should be able, provided nothing goes wrong, and allow me to knock on wood here in the war room, I should be able to make it back for the war room after next. So 2 weeks from now, I'll be back here in the war room, but next week I will be right in this region. Mickey says there are 3 dunks. Did I miss the announcement? Matthew wants to know. Matthew, it's up on the screen. So I am really excited to take you guys with me. Obviously, I want to be able to share as much of it as I can. I'm warning you that it's going to be really early in the morning next week for me. And obviously with the jet lag, it's probably going to be a pajama party. And it may be a Temple Tuesday for me, because I don't know if I'm going to be joining you guys for cocktails, even if they're in my coffee. So the reason why I'm having the coffee tonight is there have been a lot of late nights over the last few nights, and there are going to be a lot of late nights the rest of the week, getting ahead on things and preparing to go. Obviously, you guys know professionally there's a lot to do, and you're privy to the private logistics that are also required for me to be gone and for arrangements to be made and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of work. It's kind of a last minute thing. I have been working on the radio show, kind of stockpiling time off the best that I could, because I haven't even been back on the radio a year and I'm working for a new company. So I didn't get instantly all the vacation time that I used to have at my old job. And so to be able to take this kind of time off and to do it at the last minute, I'm very grateful for Westwood One and Cumulus and my bosses on the Pike and kind of everybody for understanding that this is something that I really want to do, and something that was just super important to me. And so I'm super excited about it. I could not wait to tell you guys. The flight is booked. And like I said, if I can't pull the war room off next week, know that it's an internet issue or something that I was not able to put it together, but it is my absolute intention to be able to have you guys join me and to kind of be able to show you what I've done so far and kind of fill you in on the process, because it's pretty involved just to be able to travel on a trip like that without COVID. COVID, it's making it a whole other thing. I've got tests and backup tests because you can't get on the plane without the test. And you know, you have to have a test within a certain window, but that window is how long the test takes to process. And so you've got to make appointments for other tests, and you've got to have the paper in your hand. And it's Wednesday's not coming with me. So Wednesday will be staying with the family, who will be handling all of my life and all of my responsibilities while I am gone. So, Michael says, funny stories about women leaving Pakistan and arriving in the UAE. They change out of their burqas and into minis going in, and then change them back coming home. Let me tell you what, I saw that when I was traveling to and from Iraq and to and from Afghanistan, because when I went to Iraq, I flew through Kuwait. And when I went to Afghanistan, I flew through Bahrain. And I saw it both times, that when women were leaving the Middle East, they were changing in the bathroom once they went through security at the airport, and literally coming out in like designer clothes with like leather pants and mini skirts and high heels and makeup. And then they would do the same in reverse, and they would change in the bathroom. It's like a teenage girl, like hiding her mini skirt from her dad and changing in the bathroom at school because, you know, she got driven to school or got on the bus. And the parents were like, "You're not wearing that to school." She was like, "Oh yeah, watch this, bitches." I did notice that flying in and out of the Middle East in Kuwait and Bahrain. And, you know, while I know that the Emirates are progressive, this is obviously not the norm. And there are some sightseeing things that I do want to go and see, some landmarks, some places that I want to go to that are going to require me to dress modestly. And that doesn't just mean miniskirts and stuff, but loose-fitting clothing and to cover my hair, which obviously I'm planning on being as respectful culturally as is required. I did the same thing when I, you know, went to Afghanistan. And I feel like when you travel, you should be respectful of the culture you're traveling to. Now, here in the United States, obviously, if the government ever told me I had to cover my hair, we'd be having a conversation. But obviously, if I'm traveling internationally, whatever I need to do to be respectful, I'm absolutely 100% going to do that. So I did have to go through all of my boxed up stuff from my trips overseas, because I do have a headscarf that I took to Afghanistan and to Iraq because I did need it. And so I had to dig that out, and it is purple. So that's definitely getting packed. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. I've been doing a lot of research on some things that I want to go and see. And obviously, my husband has a greater understanding of the region than I do and a lot more experience in the region. And so he has got some surprises lined up for me as well. There are some things that are happening in Dubai that I definitely want to go to, including seeing the tallest building in the world, the Burj Al Khalifa, and also the Expo, which is kind of like the modern version of the World's Fair, I believe is in Dubai right now. And that's something I would definitely love to go and see. So there is a lot going on, and I can't wait to take all the pictures. I will tell you that there will be a travel blog that will be maintained on my Patreon. So if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you're definitely going to get access to a lot more content. And so if you don't have a Backstage Pass, I'll tell you coming up in the show where you can get one, but it's going to be pretty awesome. Eric says, what about Australia's culture? I need to know some do's and don'ts. Eric, I have some friends in Australia, but I have not been there yet. I did meet some Aussie soldiers in Afghanistan, and they were crazy. They were out of their minds. Amazing, but they were out of their minds. Have an awesome, safe, healthy, fun trip. Have fun with the hubby, says Marcy. Thank you. Are you bringing us gifts when you get back? Mark wants to know. There will definitely be show and tell while I'm there next week on the show, and then I'll definitely be bringing some stuff back when I get back. Skydive off of the tallest building. Well, Bob, that would be a base jump. That would not be skydiving. Skydiving happens off of aircraft. Base jumping is jumping off of a stationary object, which is, a span. Base stands for, oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting this right now. Span, it's basically like earth, bridges, towers, buildings, like all of that kind of stuff. I'm not base jumping off of the Burj Al Khalifa. That's not happening. And one of the things that I did and, kind of was on my bucket list was to go skydiving over there. But bringing all of my equipment for such a short trip and all the other things that I want to bring with me and bring home, it wasn't the time to kind of do it. So I'm not going to be skydiving. Brett wants to know who's filling in on the Pike. I don't know who's going to be filling on my radio show, but somebody will be, obviously. Eric says, my uncle saw Jeff Dunham do Ahmed the Dead Terrorist in Dubai. Oh my God. That must have been amazing. Let's see. Base, building antenna span earth. Thank you, Michael. I knew it was something like that. I just had all the letters all mixed up. But yeah, I'm not base jumping off the Burj Al Khalifa. But I do want to go up there because it's so freaking tall. I've jumped out of airplanes at that altitude for as tall as that building is. Debbie says, have a great time. Get LB to fill in for you, says Mark. Give him a kiss for me, please. Tell him Auntie Michelle says hi. Carrie, my suggestion to you is when you go through duty free, grab a bottle of Jack Daniel's single barrel Silver Select. That is some good whiskey, says Brito. Okay, interesting. Please bring back some oil, says Ralph. You are on the Pike, but are you also on the Planet? I am, Bob. Yeah, that is one of the other stations that I'm on for sure. So you can listen on the Planet, up by the lakes. You can listen on the Pike and a bunch of other places around. Christina says, Bernadette! Oh my God, I love you guys. I have not been able to stop singing that freaking song by the Four Tops since I watched Don't Look Up. It's in my head. Get Arabic Pringles. I'll tell you, when I was in Afghanistan, somebody came back from leave and they flew through, I think, Doha, and they grabbed a bunch of boxes of Dunkin' Donuts, and seeing the Dunkin' Donuts logo in the orange and pink colors, but written in Arabic, was kind of hilarious. Do they have alcohol there? So they do have it there. It's just... there's a lot more restrictions from what I've been told. So the qualifications for a DUI is a sip of alcohol if you get pulled over. So there's no drinking at all. Not a glass of wine with dinner. Not, ooh, can I taste that? If you are going to have any alcohol at all, there's absolutely no driving. And also, I believe it's restricted to specific places. And obviously things like public drunkenness are kind of frowned upon. It's not Vegas. But yeah, obviously in the Western hotels and, there are clubs and restaurants and places where you can go and drink. David, maybe I will rock the Casbah for sure. I'm really looking forward to the food because I love Middle Eastern food. I've eaten it the gourmet way, and I've also eaten it, as stripped down and, not really knowing if it was really goat that I was eating or not with the guys when I was in Afghanistan. And I love Middle Eastern food. I absolutely love it. If you guys are looking for really good Middle Eastern food, there is an Iraqi restaurant in Clinton, Mass called Zaytoons that is owned by immigrants, and they make the most amazing food. It is so good. Their hummus, their pita, like just all of these amazing amazing things. I just absolutely love the food, so I can't wait. I will be taking a lot of pictures of food like Mike Shue does for his Instagram. They do have Ferrari cop cars there. Well, I saw stuff like that in Kuwait because the level of wealth is just on a completely different level. Like there's a law in places in the Emirates that you have to have a clean car. That if your car is dirty, just dirty, you can get pulled over and given a ticket. Just dirty. Imagine if that were the case in Massachusetts in like February on those days where all the salt and disgustingness on your car that you have to, Walter, pack the luggage. Exactly. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Anyone that knows me knows how much I love to travel. I'm not the kind of person that wants to travel like by cruise ship, that wants to just go into port for the day and buy tchotchkes on the dock. When I travel, I want to be immersed in the culture. I want to meet people that truly live there. I want to eat where the locals eat. I want to attempt to learn the language, and I just want to be a scholar of the world. I mean, part of the reason why you travel is to kind of realize how big the world is and how different and diverse the people in this world are. And so I love to kind of dive into that kind of stuff. And so anytime I travel, especially to a place where English is not the primary language, I'm always asking questions about how to say things, always trying to attempt to say things, get my pronunciation better, to be respectful and to just try. So, we'll see what I end up being able to talk to you guys about, what I'm able to pronounce. Paul says, I've traveled through the Middle East and the locals are so gracious and kind. I mean, the experience that I had with people in the Middle East when I traveled there, I found that to be true as well. Just gracious and I love cultures, and most cultures are like this, that food, meals, are a way that they show respect, appreciation, welcoming, love. And so I love the idea of cultures that want to sit down and kind of welcome you and show you hospitality by cooking with you and sharing a meal with you. And, well, I like to eat. So there you go. Oh God, Carrie is pulling a Sex in the City too and go to the UAE. Let me tell you, packing, I probably will not be able to wear cocktails in the war room stuff in certain places because of the alcohol references, like things that I don't even think about now. I have to think about. And so, going on the websites of certain sites, because they have dress code and cultural kind of requirements. And obviously my husband has been integral in that kind of stuff to make sure that I have things that are appropriate, that just because, it's like, okay, so you're going to cover your legs, but covering your legs in jeans that are tight, that's not good either. So it's the wardrobe choices, are going to be interesting. So you guys will be able to tell that from the pictures. But obviously, I want to bring cocktails in the war room stuff so that I can take pictures in places. And I'm a member of the United States Parachute Association, and there is a monthly magazine called Parachutist. And they do a thing that a lot of other magazines do, like the Improper Bostonian, where you take a magazine with you and take a picture someplace and they put it in the magazine. I did that when I was in Afghanistan with Parachutist. And so I'm going to do it again when I go. I don't know, maybe from the Burj Al Khalifa, or I'll find some other place to hold my Parachutist so that I can make it into Parachutist magazine. Don says Zaytun and Clinton. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, if you are former military, if you loved the food in Iraq, if you are just adventurous with food, you just love Middle Eastern food because that's the culture you grew up in, whatever it is. I've eaten there countless times. The food, just the takeout is fantastic, but it's called Zaytun in Clinton. You can look it up. It's really, really good. Let's see. Tracy says, if you need a hijab, we sell them at Nordstrom's in Burlington. Really? I don't need one. I believe, is it a niqab that is just the scarf? Because I have that. I also bought a hijab when I came back from, was it Iraq or Afghanistan? I brought one back, a black one. Let's see. Found that. Oh, you guys are sharing links for Zaytunes. Yeah, it's really, really good. My friends turned me on to it. The food is just fantastic. So let me know if you get food from there. But that's one of the things, like this is I've only heard, I've never met the family that owns the restaurant, so I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. But from what I understand, the family immigrated and from Iraq and settled in Clinton and is living the American dream and opened their own business. And they're sharing their culture with Central Massachusetts. And those are the kind of businesses that I want to support. And I also think the food rocks. So check it out. Let me know. I'm kind of worried about going to Iraq. What's their attitude with regard to people of color, says Eric. You're going to Iraq, Eric? Really? When are you going there? I have no idea. I mean, I could tell you that being a Caucasian American purple-haired journalist is, not something that was good in 2006. So I was well, hello. Hey, come over here. Wednesday. No, over here. Come here. Come here. Say hi to everyone. Say hello. I knew you'd end up. Hey, what's this? Sit down. Good girl. Can I have a high five? Good girl. Can I have another one? Hi. Can you? No, back up, down. Good girl. Zero's joining us in the war room tonight as well. Hello, Zero. Let me see if I can show you guys. Zero is wearing her Christmas kerchief. Hold on. Where are you, Zero? Zero, where's your Christmas kerchief? See it? Where are you, Wednesday? There you are. Hello, beautiful girls. Thank you for joining us finally. I was starting to think you were going to blow us off. For anybody that's new to the War Room, this is Wednesday. That's her handle on Instagram. She is up over 900 followers on Instagram now. We might have to have a little celebration if you make it to 1,000 followers Wednesday. Maybe you'll make it to 1,000 followers by your 4th birthday, which is coming up in April. Can you believe that? Hey, back up. Back up. Down. Good girl. Good girl. Here you go, Zero. Are you being a good girl? Yes, you are. She's been very snuggly because it's been very cold. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, that's it. No more. No more cookies. They're all gone. See? No more. No more cookies. They're all gone. But you did such a nice job. I was wondering where she was. Jeff says, hey, Wednesday. Hey, Zero, says Melissa. Facebook presence for Wednesday, please. Eric wants to know. I have not gotten around to making Wednesday a Facebook page. It's a lot just to manage her Instagram. But yeah, we'll figure something out for sure. Do you want to come up and say hi to everyone? Do you want to make some pug noises and say hi? Huh? Okay. Okay. Thank you for coming to visit. There's nothing left. Thank you for the kisses too. Good girl. Might have to bring her something special back from my trip to visit Daddy. Say hi, Wednesday. What's this up here? You're a good girl. Penny says, hey, Wednesday and Zero. Yes, Jason, exactly. You say the C word. Exactly. Keith says, hello, Wednesday. Are you selling dog cookies? Jen wants to know. I'm not selling dog cookies, but I can't get her to come in here and behave in the war room if she doesn't get a treat. It's like the only way that I can. What? I don't have any more. Do you? There's nothing left. I'm sorry. I know you think that's bullshit, but you just don't get a bunch of treats just for coming in here and sitting here. You showed everybody your tricks, right? We're going to miss you next week. Maybe we'll see if I can somehow get Wednesday on the show virtually. Maybe we could Skype Wednesday in although I don't know. It's going to be so complicated just trying to get the show to go off without a hitch next week. You bringing home a UAE flag for the war room? Yeah, I'm definitely going to bring some stuff home. There's so much unknown right now because normally if I plan a trip, it's something that gets planned like months ahead of time. And this trip is kind of getting planned kind of at the last minute. And so, I'm like scrambling to put a plan together and to know where I'm going and what I need to pack and, to make sure the podcast is ready to go. And yeah, it's just craziness, but I'm super excited. So I cannot wait to see you guys next week for, coffee in the war room next week. So don't miss it. And hopefully I'll be able to pull it off. If not, I'll just keep an eye on my Instagram and my Facebook and my Twitter. And if I'm not able to pull it off, it'll be the first time we miss an episode in a week. And then we'll pick it up when I get home. But I'm pretty confident I'm going to be able to pull it off. All right. Speaking of the podcast, let's get to it, shall we? Episode 82 of the Mistress Carrie podcast last week featured the one and only Zach Wilde from Black Label Society, sponsored by our friends at Digital Federal Credit Union. You can find them online at dcu.com. Or dcu.org, I should say. And, we learned a lot about Zach Wilde on this episode. Obviously, we got to hear what's going on with Ozzy and his collaboration on the new Ozzy record, when Ozzy's going to be able to get out on the road. And, but I also loved hearing about Zach kind of, talking about his home life a little bit and what life has been like during the pandemic. And I also was really interested in the conversations that we had about guitar tone and also about songwriting. Mark says, Zach was awesome. Go old school war room and just do handheld phone like the first few shows, Jason said. Well, here's the thing, Jason. If I do that, then I can't show you guys like pictures. So my hope is to be able to use the computer so that I can build slides like I do now to be able to put pictures up on the screen to kind of show you guys parts of my trip. But if I need to and just go strip down on the phone, I'll do that. So we'll see. But I love catching up with Zach. I love hearing about the kids and all of his craziness with his wife, Barbara Ann, who he calls the warden, or, all of the other camera wobble. I know, Michael, I bumped the table. But Zach is just hilarious. And I love that he calls me doll. It's just something he just has always done, which I love. And I just got a text message that I was on the Jumbotron at the Bruins game. I'm like, nope, in the war room, definitely not at the Bruins game. There's obviously a purple-haired woman at the Bruins game that just made the Jumbotron. That's freaking hilarious. My friend Phil says, hi, your twin is here impersonating you. Great. Let's see. Love him. Mark says it was an awesome episode. Back up your computer before bringing it over there. Oh, trust me, Michael. I'm backing up everything. My phone, my computer, all of it. Donna says Zach was so funny. Hill fucking hilarious. Why was the podcast so short with Zach? So Brett, to answer your question, when I book these interviews, I get fit into their schedule, and sometimes they're doing a full day of press. And so you get the window you get. And so my window with Zach, they said, look, he's got a half hour. Do you want to talk to him then? And obviously it's not just the person that I'm interviewing schedule, but it's also mine. I can't record a 2-hour podcast episode in the middle of the afternoon because I'm on the air. So it's a matter of working my schedule around the schedule of the guest. And so if I only get access for like 10 or 15 minutes and it's just like a, hey, how you doing? I put those up as bonus episodes. In radio, they call those phoners. And so when there's announcements about tours or, new albums coming out or whatever, sometimes artists will do, it's kind of like a press junket for like films where they just sit the actors down and they change out the people and they just answer kind of the same questions over and over again. So sometimes I get access to people for 10 or 15 minutes for a quick phoner. And that's why I tell you to subscribe to the podcast, because then if I have a bonus episode that I can put up, I don't want you to miss it. But with full length episodes, I want them to at least be 30 minutes. Like I want it to be a good sizable episode to give you something meaty to listen to. And so that's why sometimes the episodes are only 30 minutes long, because that's the access that I get to the artist. And with a guy like Zach, he's constantly out on the road. He's constantly in the studio working on 10,000 different things. And so you got to take the time you get when you get it. So that's what I do. It's not because he didn't want to stay longer. It's that, he had another interview to do. And so he had to go. Let's see. Heidi says it was incredible. John says, I'm so glad you're keeping this going and juggling the day gig at the same time. Well, John, that's the thing, is that I love radio. It's what I've always done. I have absolute respect for it, even though we are in modern times with technology and some people view radio as being a dinosaur of technology. I really feel like radio still has a place in people's lives and day-to-day activities, and I love the connection with it. But I also fully embrace a lot of this new technology, and that, between the podcast and the War Room, I love the communities that are built. I love, the immediacy of the War Room where you guys can comment and I can answer in real time. But I also love how personable the podcast interviews are, because doing phoners and radio, you'd get 10 or 15 minutes with an artist. It would be longer if they came into the studio, or longer if like I sat backstage at a show and could sit down with them for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. But one of the things about the new technology that COVID has kind of forced us to do is to take advantage of things like Zoom. And now the artists are more and more open to doing longer interviews because they have a lot of downtime, especially with touring right now. A lot of these artists in this new year, especially with the Omicron variant, they're going into these touring bubbles because they need to be able to protect the band members and the crews and not expose them to COVID so that the tour can stay on the road. Look at what happened with Evanescence, and they had to derail the whole tour with Hailstorm. And so because they're not able to kind of go out everywhere and to be able to hang out and throw the parties and see their friends, there's a lot of downtime for these artists and they're bored. And so the ability to be able to sit down with them and have these long conversations and get to know each other on a personal level and talk about current events and music inspiration and kind of the crazy things that come up. That part of the launching of the podcast, I knew was going to be possible. But when I started the podcast, I didn't really know how much I was going to love it and how much I was going to really enjoy the process. And I really want you guys to be able to get to know these artists in a way that maybe you weren't before. And so I'm not giving up the podcast. I'm not giving up the War Room. We're figuring out a way to keep doing it because it's so much fun. And obviously on the radio, I'm able to take a lot of this content in shorter bites and infuse it into the radio shows. And it's only making the radio shows better too. It's just that I keep hosing myself on the podcast because I swear, the guests swear. And then when I go to use the audio on the radio, I'm like, oh, I have to edit it. But yeah, so I'm loving the whole process. So I had an absolute blast with Zakk Wylde. I loved being able to kind of end the year on a high note with Zakk Wylde and get reacquainted with him because I hadn't really talked to him a lot since AAF went off the air. So kind of getting to reconnect with him was awesome. I wanted to go and see Black Label Society when they were in town last, and I wasn't able to go to the show for extenuating circumstances. So I was kind of bummed that I didn't get to see him. And like I said, these artists are all living in bubbles. So even if I get to go to a show, like I talked about with Tyler Connolly from Theory of a Dead Man recently, it would be talking across a parking lot with masks on, like not being able to sit down and have a drink after the show and get caught up, or sit on the tour bus and reminisce and do kind of stupid, crazy things and contest with sound check parties with listeners and all of that kind of stuff. So it's definitely different, but it's been great. Which brings me to the guest announcement for this week's episode of the podcast. Episode 83 of the Mistress Carrie podcast features my friend Dale Arnold. And yes, that is Wednesday with Dale in that picture when she was a little bitty puppy. Dale Arnold was on the air at WEEI for almost 30 years. He is also the host of the Bruins games on Nesson, and he is an accomplished author as well. Most recently, writing the book Sean Thornton, Fighting My Way to the Top. So he wrote it with Sean Thornton. Basically interviewed Sean Thornton a bunch of times and then wrote the book for Sean, but it's Sean's life story. Hello, Wednesday. You're back. You came back. What are you doing? Just came in to sit with us? Even though I don't have anything to give you or offer you right now? You just... What are you doing? Just want me to pet you? It's like the favorite spot right there. Watch. See how she... Hold on. Let me see if I can get her to do it again. So when you rub her belly and stuff, and then you stop, watch her paw. She'll claw at you to tell you to... See it? That's her way of saying, more of that, please, and thank you. Uncle Dale, exactly, Shannon says. Holy shit, love it, says Josh. I hope this was a podcast. It will be a good one. Yeah, she's back from mail call, Jonathan, exactly, because she knows it's almost time to see if anything came in the mail for her. Wednesday, you are such a spoiled dog. See? She's like, you, keep touching me. Come here. Oh. Can I rub your belly? Do you want to be the baby? Oh, be the baby. Be the baby. There you go. Be mommy's baby. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, you can just sit on my lap then and stare at the box over there on the couch that you think might have something in it for you. So can we get back to the Wednesday? Can we get back to the podcast just for a second? Oh, God. I'm hitting the wrong button, Wednesday, because you're sitting on my lap. So I'm really excited to have Dale on the show. I reached out to him. I've known Dale forever. We worked in the same building and down the hall from each other, different radio stations, but for the same company. And Dale and I could not be further opposites if we tried. And we have always had an amazing working relationship. We have always been friends, and he's been amazing. He, whenever there was a Red Sox World Series ring that came into the studio, he brought me down. When the Bruins ring arrived in the studio, brought me down for that. When he wanted to surprise Michael Hawley with Daryl McDaniels from Run DMC live on the air, I helped him put that together. Knowing that Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine and Audioslave was such a huge Cubs fan, that I helped to get Dale and Michael Hawley hooked up with Tom Morello so they could get him on the show. So we've always had this kind of strange work relationship, but one of the things that is so special. The Bruins at every home game do something called the 8-spoke salute. And they bring a military member and they pay tribute to them at the game. And they did that for my husband, obviously before he was my husband. And we got to bring the kids to the game. And Dale found out that that was happening and was like, bring the kids up into the press box. And so I got to take the kids up and kind of show them the TV set and to kind of show them, you know, the inner workings of the arena. And Dale is the kind of guy that does those kinds of things. And he's amazing. And, damn it. I didn't notice that it said Utopia for Realists under there. And it says Mandoki Soulmates up there. God damn it. All right, fine. I'm drinking up. Damn it. Typos on the screen. So Dale and I talked about the Boston sports scene, talked about radio. We talked about how to dive into writing a book, like this book about Sean Thornton. He kind of gave me some advice, face please. He gave me some advice about kind of starting the Mistress Carrie book, which is something that's kind of on my bucket list of something that I have always wanted to do. And Dale and I had a great conversation, and he's super fun and really nice. And if you are a sports lover, you are going to love this episode. And like I said, it is like a real life Odd Couple, right? I mean, seriously, look at us. Like, and when I brought Wednesday into work when she was a little itty bitty puppy, I said, Dale, oh my God, it was right after I launched Wednesday's Instagram. And I was like, Dale, can I put you on Wednesday's Instagram? And he was like, yes. And like took the picture with her. And so for as straight-laced as, you know, Uncle Dale is portrayed, and he took a lot of flack for a long time on the radio for being, you know, straight-laced and, you know, whatever. He is also incredibly accomplished. He is the only person to hold the distinction of doing play-by-play for all 5 major Boston sports teams, and the 5th obviously being the New England Revolution. So I just love him, and I'm so psyched that he's coming on the podcast. It's something a little bit different. We do talk about music in the episode, and the corresponding playlist for this episode is filled with great hockey tunes, which is great and so much fun. So episode 83 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight, and it features sportscaster extraordinaire and accomplished author and personal friend Dale Arnold, and it goes live at midnight tonight. So yeah, Heidi, you are going to love this episode. Miss him on the radio. I agree, Mark. Are you ever going to tell us, Jonathan said, tell you guys what? Wait, what? Nor'easter coming Friday, 4 to 8 inches of snow near Boston, less on the Cape. Yes, I know. I'm watching the weather because of my flights. Trust me, because I have to time my flight around my COVID tests. And so if my flight gets delayed, then I have to make accommodations for the COVID test. And so there's a lot of moving parts, and I'm watching the weather like crazy. Did you ever get Dale to swear? I don't believe Dale swore in this episode. No, he's not the kind of person that would swear. You will be surprised at what he calls me in the first minute of the interview. It's going to make you laugh, knowing it's Dale Arnold. So I'm not going to give it away because I want your reaction to be absolutely pure. But the first minute of the actual interview, you're going to laugh because it almost took me back, but I've known him for so long that I just thought it was freaking hilarious. I think this one's like 45 minutes. So it's not super, super long. Again, you know, we did the interview on a game day. So, you know, I got to go around the schedules of the people I get on the podcast. But I was super happy to have him on the show. And he said he would come back anytime. So there you go. Looking forward to the episode, Walter says. So yeah, I'm super excited. So there you go. So that's episode 83. Don't forget to hit subscribe, because if you do, you will also get the sit reps, which you get Monday through Friday, which is all your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates and industry info. And it's all boiled down to 5 minutes or less. And it's sponsored by TS to T, which you can save 15% off everything you get go to my blog at mistresscarrie.com for the code. It's all there. Something just hit the floor. I have to tell you guys this quick story because I'm starving because I haven't eaten dinner yet. So if you have a backstage pass, you already know about these, but I have this love affair with these cookies. They're German, Scandinavian. They're called stroopwafels, and I love them. And they're hard to find sometimes. And so my sister, as kind of a joke gift, she ordered a bunch of these individually wrapped stroopwafels. This is not an endorsement. And she put 100 of these in my Christmas stocking. The evil bitch that she is. And I'll show you what they look like. They're fucking delicious. And there are a couple of them sitting on the table in here. And I'm starving, so I'm going to eat one. This is what they look like. It looks like a waffle. But inside, it's mushy. And there's a layer of caramel inside. Stroopwafels are unbelievable. They're so good. And I love them. And I got 100, literally counted 100 in my Christmas stocking from my sister. Will says, you and Dale Arnold like an episode of Good Omens. They're so good. Heidi says, I need to try your coffee, Carrie. My coffee. Make it strong, dump booze. End of coffee. Delicious. Oh my God, I love them. Aldi had them, Rachel says. You can find them at Marshall's, Alyssa says. Annie Ange got some. They're freaking delicious. Your sister is evil to you, says Sean. I know. I get them when I donate blood at the Red Cross. I've seen them at Target, Annette says. Belgian Waffle Rock Original #1s. I'm telling you, I got to get Stroopwafels to sponsor my show because I literally could just sit here and eat them all night. And this is my dinner right now, so that's not good. It's German for blueberry cobbler waffles. Put it on top of your coffee mug and let the steam from the hot coffee makes the caramel melt. Oh my God. I'm totally going to do that. I'm drinking iced coffee right now while I'm rudely talking with my mouth full. So that's not going to work, but I am totally going to float one of these on my coffee. It's like a biscotti. So good. Heidi, they are delicious. Wednesday took off. I just lost the sound. Wait, you can't hear me now? Ralph? Hello? Do you have any blueberry cobbler coffee? Oh, yeah. Jonathan? Yeah, the blueberry cobbler coffee is delicious, and it's really good as iced coffee. So try that if you haven't had the blueberry cobbler. Yeah, Jeff says, makes me hungry. Exactly. All right. We are available everywhere. Talking back about the Mistress Carrie podcast because I can't just talk about cookies all night because the show's going to run late if I do. Here's all the places you can subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't already, just go to mistresscarrie.com. There's links everywhere. We are holding strong at 130 countries, and Canada won the year of 2021, being the second most popular country for the Mistress Carrie podcast behind the United States, obviously. But you never know. This year, it's a whole new year. And now that I'm headed over to the United Arab Emirates, maybe I will spread the word about the Mistress Carrie podcast and maybe we'll get some new listeners. All right, the first thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the passing of Betty White, which just blows. So upsetting. Betty White would have turned 100 years old on January 17th. There is a documentary film in theaters for one day only that was scheduled before she passed away. That was going to be a celebration of her 100th birthday. That film is still going to be in theaters. I put the link and everything up on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com because they're selling the tickets, and it is going to be in movie theaters around the country. It's going to be in almost 1,000 theaters, I think. So you can search by state, by region, and then get tickets for the showings. One of the other things I also wanted to call your attention to, back in 2014, I sat down for a pretty long interview with Slash. And you can find the whole interview up on YouTube. But one of the things I asked Slash about, we played this word association thing where I asked him about his friends. I asked him about Miles Kennedy. I asked him about working on a song with Fergie. And then the last person I asked him about was Betty White. And he gushed about Betty White. And so I made a little video, and it's up on Facebook and Instagram. And you can hear Slash talking about Betty White. Now, you may have noticed the hashtag, the Betty White Challenge, has been going around social media. If you didn't hear about it, I want to tell you about it because I think it's amazing. It is a grassroots effort to pay tribute to Betty White on her 100th birthday. The Betty White Challenge, because she was such an animal advocate and lover, is that on January 17th, you make a $5 donation to a rescue, a shelter, an animal welfare agency, and you make it in the name of Betty White. And so the hope is that local rescues and non-kill shelters and all of these kind of places, sanctuaries, are going to be flooded with these small $5 donations that will amount to a lot of money in the name of Betty White. And I can't think of a better way to honor her legacy than to do something that was her life's passion. There are stories coming out now. She was a lot like Keanu Reeves, where she did all this philanthropic work, but never put her name on anything so that she never got any credit. She chartered a private jet to evacuate zoo animals out of New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. And it's just coming out now that she was the one that chartered the jet because she just did it because they needed a jet. And so Betty was like, hire the jet, I'll pay for it. Love her. So the Betty White Challenge is pretty awesome. So pick a charity, an animal shelter, something that, you know, I mean, I rescued a pug from the New England Pug Rescue. You know, find a rescue, an organization that you believe in, and donate $5 on January 17th and honor the legacy of the late, great Betty White. We love you, Betty. She was amazing. All right, let's buzz through some of these headlines because there's a lot going on. Beth Hart's releasing the tribute to Led Zeppelin coming out next month on February 25th. There's a lot going on the 25th. Beth Hart's Led Zeppelin cover album comes out. That's the day the Guns N' Roses EP Hard School comes out. It's the day that the Foo Fighters movie Studio 666 comes out. It's the night Dream Theater is going to be at the Wang. February 25th, there's a lot going on. Dream Theater is going to be at the Wang. Alice Cooper is going to be at Foxwoods on March 18th. The Scorpions just released episode 2 of 3, their 3-part documentary series about the new album Rock Believer. You can watch that online. Korn and Chevelle and Code Orange. They got 2 shows at the Dunkin' Donuts Center on March 16th, in Providence in the SNHU Arena on March 19th. Tickets are on sale for both of those now. And if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, you have access to those tickets. Judas Priest is going to be in town at Mohegan on April 2nd, and Songus, the Songus Center at UMass on April 4th. If you had tickets from the previously scheduled shows back in October, they're going to be good those nights. And if you don't have tickets yet, you can still get them. Metallica is still streaming the 2 anniversary shows on the Coda Collection. And if you have Amazon Prime, you can get a free 7-day trial on the Coda Collection. And then you can just watch the 2 Metallica films and then cancel the 7-day trial and not pay the $4.99 a month. Coming up pretty quick, Nonpoint is going to be at Wally's in Hampton Beach on January 14th. So if you're going to be able to go there, if you go, make sure you tell Elias that I said hi. I wish I could go, but I'm going to be gone. And I'm so bummed because he was on the podcast and I was really looking forward to going and seeing him. The postponed date of the Evanescence and Hailstorm tour is coming up on January 20th. Lilith Czar is going to be opening up that show. And your tickets from the December 18th date are going to be honored that night. And I should be home for that. So I will see you guys there. David Bowie has his live stream. The David Bowie tribute stream is coming up on January 8th. And in other David Bowie news, his estate has just sold his music publishing rights for a whopping $250 million, which is unbelievable. It's insane. Super Bowl weekend. Don't forget, Green Day, Halsey, Machine Gun Kelly, and Miley Cyrus are going to be playing the Crypto.com Arena. Billy Joe Armstrong canceling his appearance on Miley Cyrus's New Year's Eve show because he was exposed to COVID. And even though he tested negative, he was a little bit nervous about traveling. So he did not travel. Judas Priest was up there twice. We'll drink for that typo. And also, Machine Gun Kelly has announced he's got 2 new albums coming out this year. So I just want to put that bug in your ear as well. The Grammys are supposed to take place at the end of this month, but there is rumors floating around that it may get postponed because of COVID. Wendy Dio did an interview this week that there is a new Dio documentary that is coming out this year that is fully authorized by the Dio estate. She saw the first cut of the documentary and said it was incredibly emotional. Now, if you read Dio's autobiography, which he began writing before he passed away, the autobiography ends in 1986 with Dio headlining Madison Square Garden. The documentary is going to go through his entire life all the way to his death, which is interesting because obviously the book didn't go there. And speaking of documentaries, Michael Monroe has a Hanoi Rocks documentary that's coming out this year. And the trailer for that documentary is available online if you want to watch it. The Dio documentary trailer has not come out yet. So some pretty cool documentaries are coming out this year. Bruce Dickinson's spoken word tour is headed to the Schubert on February 5th. Those tickets are on sale now. Volbeat and Ghost. Those tickets are on sale now, and they're going to be at the DCU Center in Worcester on February 11th. The Dropkicks are doing their massive North American tour leading up to St. Patrick's Day in Boston at the House of Blues on March 17th, 18th, and 19th. And one of the first artists to play the new club in Brighton called Roadrunner on March 20th. Royal Blood is going to be at the House of Blues on May 24th. Those tickets are on sale now. Did you guys catch the teasers starting on New Year's Day from Shinedown on their social media? It's very interesting. It's purple, which Brent Smith told me about on was it episode 80 when he came on the podcast? No, it was earlier than that. The second time he came on the podcast. He talked about Shinedown 7. That's not the name of it. He also said they were using royal colors, which this is a royal color. And so all of the logos for all the artwork for the upcoming Shinedown album have been purple. I'm not saying it's in tribute to me. I'm just saying it's in tribute to me. What's up, Heidi? Let's see. Going to see Ghost, Michael says. Howard Stern loves Royal Blood. Well, he's got good taste in music. Royal Blood's amazing. Let's see. Royal color, please. Blue. No, purple is the color of royalty. Like it dating back to kings and stuff. Purple has always kind of been the color of royalty. So royal color. So everything's going to be purple, which I'm super excited about. And also what's purple. Did you guys catch the guys from Dirty Honey opening up the Winter Classic and covering Let's Go Crazy from Prince on the frozen lake in Minnesota because of Prince and where the Winter Classic was? They released officially the cover of Let's Go Crazy, and it's available on all the streaming services. And the logo for the single is the Dirty Honey logo in purple. Oh, I need the shirt, guys. Dirty Honey, we're going to be in town next month as part of the Young Guns tour, which is at Big Night Live on January 29th. They're coming to town with Mammoth WVH on that tour. I really hope they're going to have t-shirts that have the Dirty Honey logo in purple. Needs to happen because I need one. So that's Mammoth WVH and Dirty Honey, the Young Guns tour at Big Night Live on January 29th. Falling in Reverse is going to be at the Songus on January 21st. Turnstile is headed to the Palladium on May 21st. The Kiss Museum is set to open in Vegas in March. And Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets tour that was set to roll into Boston later this month has been postponed. So keep listening for details on that when he reschedules it. Just as a reminder, the big gig is coming up on April 30th, featuring Godsmack, 3 Days Grace, Black Veil Brides, Wage War, and Lilith Czar. If you already have your tickets, hold on to them. We'll see you at the show. Mike Shue and I are going to be hosting it. And if you don't have tickets yet, you can get them. Go to the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. Okay, I told you guys about the TS to T deal. You get 15% off everything. Use the code Carrie15. If you love tea, they sent me all the samples of their loose teas. You can either make your own little tea bags, or they have like teacups that have like a screened pocket. You just put the tea in, pour the water. It's not labor intensive. It's just like making a cup of coffee, but the teas are really, really delicious. The blueberry one is awesome. And so if you have somebody that loves tea in your life, you can get them a gift pack, a sample pack, but you get 15% off everything you buy if you use Carrie15. You can also still get a free month of tomes if you take advantage of their 7-day free trial, and then use the email address that is in my blog at mistresscarrie.com and tell them you want the Mistress Carrie deal, and they will upgrade you to a free month. And also, Spartan Brews Coffee is continuing with 20% off of everything. And the code you need for that is available in my blog as well. So lots of ways for you guys to save some money. Okay, we got mail call. This giant box came in this week. And Melissa, this was the box you were talking about last week. And it's ridiculous, Melissa. Seriously. Merry Christmas, Carrie. Yours are wrapped in purple. Zero and Wednesdays are wrapped in red. Love, Melissa and Tim. Could you guys be any more sweet? Seriously. And you guys made her a stocking. She's not even in the war room all the time, but she is. Are you kidding? Look at this fucking stocking. It's got skulls and purple flowers. Where? With my name on it. Look at that. Ah! I thought Christmas was over. Look at this. It says Wednesday. Oh my God, there's so much stuff in here. All right, first of all, there's stuffed, puffed chocolate marshmallows. Evil. Evil. I guess I should open the dog stuff first. This is Wednesdays. You guys have no idea how much Wednesday loves these crinkly. So, do you guys remember that giant coffee mug that you guys bought her? And it's one of those like interactive toys, and it came with a bunch of stuffed donuts, and you shove them in the mug, and then the dog like plays and like pulls the stuff out of the mug. Well, between Wednesday and Zero, the donuts don't exist anymore, but the mug still does. And all of these flat, crinkly toys that you guys have been sending her, I've been balling them up and shoving them in that coffee mug, and like 10 of them fit in there. And it is Wednesday's favorite thing to do lately, for me to cram all these crinkly, squeaky toys in there and throw the mug across the room. And then for like 10 minutes, she sticks her little pug face in there and pulls all of these things out, and then looks at me and sits down and waits for me to stuff them all back in the mug again and then throw the mug. So these toys, she loves them. She absolutely loves them. Oh, look, it's got dog treats and a can't. Where do you guys even get this stuff? How cute is that? Look, they're little dog bones. Wednesday, you spoiled little shit. You guys wrapped her little toys. I thought Christmas was over. It's not. And I have to be careful with the wrapping paper because Wednesday likes to eat the wet wrapping paper scraps, and then it comes out of her butt. Oh my God, look at this thing. I don't know why she loves the crinkle so much. And she always finds a way to kill the squeakers, but the crinkle, she loves it. She absolutely loves it. And I don't know why. And let me tell you, when she gets one and she jumps on the couch with you and she just gnaws on the crinkling while you're trying to watch television, it's awesome. No. All right. I'm going to put Wednesday's toys because I don't want to get Wednesday stuff and Zero stuff mixed together. This is so cute. Seriously, guys. This is over the top and adorable. Zero, I'm opening your Christmas present. Oh my God. Look at this thing. It says, squeeze me, I move. Oh my God. Look at this. Watch. Look at this. Zero, you got presents. Come here. Come here. You got a Christmas stocking. Look. Look at your Christmas stocking. Even has your name on it. What else did you get in your stocking? Come here. Oh my goodness. I got to turn on the Zero cam. Hi. Come here. Sit down. Come here. Hold on. Let me turn your camera on. It's the Zero cam. Guys, look at her little handkerchief. By the way, that handkerchief matches pajamas I bought my mother. Like flannel, like plaid Christmas pajamas. My mom and Zero have matching Christmas outfits. It's hilarious. Zero, look at. Do you want me to take the tag off for you? You took Wednesday's gig. You get the Zero cam now. Hey, you want this? You want this? There you go. That's for you. And what are these? Are these snacks for you? Do you want to have it? No, sit down. Sit down nicely. Sit down. You're going to get your beautiful fur all over my... No. Rachel, she is sitting very pretty. Let me tell you, Zero spends a lot of time here. And she is the sweetest dog on the planet. Here, she's so well behaved. You want that? She's so gentle and sweet. And it's Wednesday's best friend. They're besties. Talk about odd couple. There's Wednesday and Zero and me and Dale Arnold. Is that good? You're getting crumbs all over your Christmas stocking. Oh my God. Thank you for thinking of Zero. Wednesday's going to be so jealous. You got to pick up all these crumbs, though. You can't leave crumbs on the couch. Good girl. She's so big. When you have a little dog, I've had pugs for 23 years. A big dog is like, what? You're so big. Oh my God, it's purple. All right, I opened the dog stockings, but now I'm going to open mine. Wednesday. I got presents for you. Zero. You're a lot bigger than Wednesday. I have to move the camera back for you. These are lights to convert any bottle of alcohol into a lamp light. There are 4 purple, 1 light, 1 white, and 1 multi. They're labeled with the color. No way. Check this out. You can see it's like a cork and it's got a string of LEDs in it and you put them. How cool are these? You know what I'm going to use them for? My Crystal Head vodka bottles with the skulls. Oh, these are really cool. Oh my God. Yeah, these are not for the dogs. These are for Mommy, for sure. Zero, can I put the Zero cam back on? There you go. There's a Zero cam. I I eat this every Christmas. It's so freaking good. It's the only time I want to eat peppermint. It's candy canes is at Christmas, and it's so good. And with a coffee, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. 100%. How did you know the stockings are my favorite part? Oh, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, my God. Did you have a conversation with my sister? Guys, hear all that? That's all chocolate in there. See that? Between my sister and the Stroop waffles and... What's in there? Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Lindor. Oh, you guys are so evil. You know how much walking I'm going to have to do on my vacation to burn off all this deliciousness? Such a cool craft project. Great idea. You have to take a pic. Almost 2,200. Get going. We'll be well. Safe, everyone. Night, Michael. What type of breed dogs do you... I only have Wednesday. If you're asking me that question about what kind of breed of dog, I only have Wednesday. Zero comes and has play dates with Wednesday. And they're like besties, and it's good for both of them. So... they spend a lot of time palling around with each other. But I have to be careful about dropping stuff like this on the floor because Wednesday will try to eat it. It's all about Zero's ears. Oh, I know, right? She's been like that since she was a puppy. Like I've seen pictures of her when she was a little itty bitty puppy and one of her ears was up and the other one was down. And it's like, I can't even handle you. It's Christmas all year round, Mistress Carrie. Yeah, seriously. All right, what? Oh, my God. It's a Patriots duck. I don't have a Patriots duck. I love the Patriots duck. Why am I such an infant? I'm such a child. The fact that you took the time to wrap all of this, Michelle, like you guys are nuts. But I love you because you're crazy. Look at Zero. She's just sitting. She's just chilling. Right, baby girl? Are you getting bored? I know. I don't even know what's in the box. Save your fucks. Okay. You gonna lay down? Good girl. These are the fucks that I give out. If I give a fuck, I can give you a fuck. Look. Look, would you like a fuck? These are great. Oh my God. I'm going to keep one of these in my purse. And the next time someone pisses me off, I'm going to be like, here's my last fuck that I'm going to give. I'll give you my last fuck. And after that, these are going, this is fun. It's a jar of fucks. Exactly. So good. I'm going to put a lot of those to use. I'm going to put that. Oh, look at the top of the thing. I seriously don't know where you guys find this stuff, but I'm so glad you do. Oh, God. You make my life so fun. The laughing is necessary. Yes, it's a jar of fucks. It's unbelievable. It's totally hilarious, Brianna. I 100% agree, Danielle, that it's awesome. I don't know where she found them, Jen. Melissa, tell her where you found them. Oh! It's John Lennon for MCHQ. Oh my God, look at how cute the John Lennon Funko Pop is. They found a way to make his glasses. Look at how cute the little John Lennon is. I just want to bite him. Oh my God. This is so cool. Yes. This is my first Beatle. All right, I got one more thing to open. Let me see. Amazon, Melissa says. You find everything on there. What are you looking for? Google jar of fucks. Oh, there you go. See, if I leave stuff like this, Wednesday will like eat that. And then this will come out of her butthole. And I'll be that crazy lady walking the dog in my pajamas in the morning, pulling this out of her butt. I realize I'm sharing a lot, but that's what happens. Did you guys see the giant purple thing? The picture of the giant purple thing? Oh my God, I can't wait to show this to Mike Shue. Give geese a chance. First of all, Zero's asleep. So I'm turning off her camera because she's fully snoring right now. All we are saying is give geese a chance. To go with the John Lennon theme. Oh my God. Do you want to adopt me? Kidding. Are you? You are so hyped on caffeine. Me? I don't know what you're talking about. It's caffeine and Stroop waffles. That's my diet right now. They're so good. Oh my God. Guys, this is above and beyond. This is ridiculous. You guys are amazing. And the fact that you thought of Zero and you guys made stockings and so, like, it's so sweet. That's really amazing. No, you can't eat the wrappers either, Zero. I'm going to put them over here in the box so that nothing happens to them. Oh my God, Wednesday's going to freak out. Those cookies are so good. All right. Want to remind you guys about Joe's albums. Did you guys see the totals of vinyl sales and how many albums got sold the week before Christmas? It was over 2 million vinyl albums got sold the week before Christmas. And like 1.4 million got sold the week before. Vinyl is out of control. And if you are collecting it, if you're looking for hard to find stuff, you're looking for great used stuff to kind of fill in a gap in a collection, go see Joe. He's awesome. They also have Mistress Carrie merch there at the store. And if you don't get it at Joe's Albums, you can shop online at mistresscarrie.com and get these lockdown onesies while they last because they're almost gone. I want to remind you guys, now that it's the new year, that the 2021 Rocks Recap playlist, which is all the best new rock music that came out last year, that's linked in my blog at mistresscarrie.com. There's a ton of great music on there. A lot of the artists that you guys got introduced to through the podcast this year, but a lot of other great stuff is in there as well. So if you're looking for some new favorite bands, you're definitely going to find some stuff in the 2021 Recap podcast. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you share it with Till Lindemann from Rammstein. You share it with Michael Stipe from REM. And you share it with the late, great Peter Steele, who would have turned 60 years old today. So cheers to you if it's your birthday. And cheers to Peter Steele on what would have been his 60th birthday. And we talked about it a little bit earlier because of the trip. But if you have a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, there are definitely going to be travel blog updates from this trip and any other trip that I go on. There will be early access to event tickets for you. You get exclusive concert ticket giveaways. Right now, if you have a Backstage Pass, you have access to Falling in Reverse tickets. You have access to Korn tickets. And you are also going to get access to some Volbeat and Ghost tickets. So got to get a Backstage Pass. If you don't have one, you can get them at Patreon. Just search Mistress Carrie or just click the Patreon link at mistresscarrie.com. You can also submit podcast interview questions. We do a live stream every month, and you get shout outs on the episodes of the podcast, which start tomorrow with episode 83 featuring Dale Arnold. So be listening for that. And as always, here's where you can find me on social. I'm going to start doing a lot more TikTok stuff in the new year. It's one of my New Year's resolutions. Happy unbirthday, Keith. So keep your eyes on the TikTok. And then, of course, there's the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Cameo, YouTube, and the Patreon where you can find me as well. So, guys, next week, we have a date. Very early in the morning for me. Same time, same bat channel for you guys. But fingers crossed that I'm going to be able to pull this off and take you guys with me on this adventure. I really hope I can. I would love to be able to share it with you and to be able to do the show a little different, switch things up a little bit, and be able to show you some of the pictures and show you some of the things that I pick up along the way. So join me next week at 8:30 Eastern for Coffees in the War Room. You guys can drink. Maybe I will too. Maybe I'll be up all night from drinking the night before. I just don't know, but it's going to be interesting. So I'll see you guys next week from my trip. And if next week I'm here in the War Room, you know that something got fucked up and I'm going to be heartbroken and we'll definitely need your support for that. So, all right, guys. Michelle, thank you guys so much for my wonderful surprise Christmas box. It's amazing. And Brett says, bon voyage, good luck, be safe, Donna says. Annette says, be safe. Catch you on the flip side, says Melissa. Take care and have a great overnight, says Walter. Night all, early doctor's appointment in the morning, says Karen. Safe travels and enjoy, says Kim. Same bat channel. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait. An adventure. It's going to be awesome. All right. Good night, guys. Don't forget, at midnight, new episode of the podcast featuring Dale Arnold. Good night.